My name is Robert Memeti, and I want to present to you what fund management system. The applicants are supposed to fill in their names, date of birth, gender, the telephone number they're using, the email address, the application type, the religion, physical address where they're coming from, the county assembly ward, the passport photo. They are supposed to attach the duly filled application forms. They picked from the ones they picked from the county scholarship offices. Then they now have to click on apply. Once they click on apply, they will receive an automated application ID number. In this case, you can see it's 00009. Then the application date, and then they can actually print this as a source document for them to prove that they actually did the application for the scholarship. And in future, they can still actually track this application by putting the application ID in this box, then the number that was used to apply, then they click on track. This is just to showcase how far is the application. Like in this case, they can actually see the admission status is still pending. It means once it will be approved, it will actually the admission status will change and show it has been approved. Now at this point, I want to take you to the administrative level, where now the officer in charge of the scholarships are supposed actually to be viewing the submitted forms and then act effectively on every individual application. Now you can see this is now the administrative reference point, where in an official language you call it the dashboard, where they're actually supposed to operate from. Now the officer is supposed actually to be clicking on application. In this case, you can see application is down here. So they click on application, then they actually be able to select the level of application. Now when they click on a level of application, you actually can be able to see quite a number of people have actually applied. Now if they pick on one, like in this case this one, application number 7, so when they click on view, they can be able actually to see the name and where the county assembly ward is. And then they can actually view the duly filled form from this particular applicant by clicking on download. Once they click on download, they can actually open that particular form that was submitted by the applicant. Now they can actually see, was this form actually filled? Was it filled well? Was it filled well by the required officers? Once they verify the form actually been filled well, it will be printed out and filed in their offices. Then they will now either approve or take it back to waiting, or they will decline depending on the application type or the factors that have been put in place for one to be approved. Now in this case, if this applicant has been approved, it means this particular officer will click on approve. Once they click on approve, they are supposed actually to put in the following details. They are supposed to put in the approval date, which is actually today. Then they are actually supposed to put in the section, actually the application, actually the class the applicant is actually applying for, then the admission number. The admission number was actually admission number 7 from the waiting ticket. Then there is the part where now the institution has to be at the form. Actually the form that was submitted by the applicant has the admission number. Now they're supposed to give us that admission number as from the school. For example, if it's Moi University, that's an admission number. This is just for a demonstration purpose. Then they are supposed to actually open an account for this particular applicant by putting in the same, because this is an applicant number 7, so they're supposed to open number 7 Then the same will go for the password, student number 7. So they are supposed to just create an online portal by giving a username and a password, so that the applicant can be able to be logging in into their particular account and checking and seeing the progress of the scholarship. Now then they click on approved. Once they click on approved, if there is another email address in the system, it will actually be able to warn you there's a duplicate email in the system. So this person is supposed to give us another email address which is actually functional. In this case, we want to assume this person has another email address, so they give us this the Amos Fitch. Now they click on, then the admission numbers field must only contain numbers. So it must only contain numbers from actually as per the form. The admission number must only contain numbers as per the system. But in the future, we'll actually work on it so that we can have, maybe it can accommodate the alphanumericals, alphabet. Now we click on approved. Now once you get to approved, it means if we go back to the same online portal for the public for tracking, if the applicant will actually click on a track, you will see that it's been approved. It has been approved. Now if it has been approved, the same officer has another duty by going to sponsorship, then click on candidate, then they add a candidate. Now they want to award the scholarship. Candidate Jaden, actually the registration number has come automatically. Application has been verified by who? Now the verification officer, maybe the verification officer is called Timothy Wanyonyi. So the number of the officer who is actually verifying this form, it has to be put in the system. Then date of verification, then we add the candidate. Now once you add the candidate, now the last point of it, now the officer is supposed to do is to go to sponsorship, then add sponsorship, because now we want to award the sponsorship. We collect from which sponsor is the county government. Student Jaden. Start date is actually the date that actually sponsorship is starting. Maybe now the sponsorship is starting actually from date 20th. Maybe they are going to award actually from date 20th of September, and end date, it will actually run it. Maybe if it's a financial year, it will actually take us back to maybe the same date again, October again next year. So the same date, maybe again we can select on 18th. Now amount that has been awarded, maybe let's say we can talk of they are actually giving the scholarship is actually they are giving out 30,000. Payment date, when are they going to pay? Payment date is going to be made on 28th of September. Then you add sponsorship. So now you can see actually if you go to sponsorship, actually it is active. The payment date actually will be made on 18th. So at the end of the day, the county government will be able to tell who's been awarded and who has not been awarded, and then they can actually know how much has been actually given out from the ward fund manager, or rather the office that is actually responsible for the scholarship for every ward, by knowing the total amount that has been actually given out. At this point, I think you've been able to see the application process right from the online to the administrator in the office, and then how the applicant can be able to actually view the status of that particular application. I thought of this system because actually nowadays we see people are doing it manually. They fill a form, they take it to the office, then there is the Excel format of filling, but now there is no verification. Actually, the applicant cannot be able to make a follow-up and know how far is my application. Then the renewal process, it is actually a hassle. But now if you can see from my system here, Once you can renew it automatically by clicking on renew, and then you select the date that actually maybe next year again, 2023. It will be able to actually be renewed on the same date, or actually or another date. Now, apart from the scholarship, actually you'll find that the Word Fund Manager has other modules in the system. For example, the accounting part. The accounting part will help the Word Fund Manager, or rather the MCA, or even the members of parliament, to actually put in the expenses. They can actually work on expense. Like if you say add an expense, they can put in the name of the expense, the date, the amount, and if there is any file like a receipt or something, then they can add an expense. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the management of expenses, so that the Word Fund Manager will be able to tell us how much has been spent from that particular office. Then again, they can actually check against the income. Income meaning what has been received from the county government. What has been received from the county government. If there was some amount that was awarded for the Word Fund Manager for the ward development, then that amount has to be spent the way the county intends to do so. And then we can also find the Word Fund has another module, payroll. Payroll is about now paying people, like you can actually manage salary. There is a way you can manage salary for the people who are working for the ward level. At the ward level, there is a receptionist. There is the admin. There is the Word Fund Manager, and many other people. Now it means the system actually can actually make. Actually, it can actually pay. They can actually make some payment out of the system, and then at the end of the day, you can actually know how much has been paid from the kitty. Because we've had cases where members of parliament, they don't pay their staff, and it has been an issue. But now with the system, actually you'll notice that the system will be able to tell you who's been paid and who's not been paid by looking at the kind of reports that is within the system. In due course, I'll be able to showcase, or rather if you invite me, I'll be able to go deeper and deeper and show you the kind of reports that you expect actually from the payroll. Another item that I want to talk about is the inventory. Inventory has been an issue. Actually now, when it comes to supply from the county, like fertilizer, like when there is a new product that is coming in from the county, then that particular product is supposed to actually go back to the consumer, let's say the farmers. You find there is a problem, like in distribution. Now with this kind of module, you'll find that there is you can actually receive an item like a purchase. You can actually add a purchase. You're receiving from the county. Which office is actually receiving it? Either a ward administrator. Then the category of that item, if maybe it's food, then maybe it's maize. Then you can specify the price. Maybe what price is it coming with? And then actually now, if it is fertilizer, then you can actually select on sell. You can sell. Now we are talking about 50 kg bag. It's supposed to go for a certain amount. So at the end of the day, you can actually make a sell from the office at the ward level, so that we can be able to tell how much has been purchased, how much actually were received, and how much has been actually been sold. Then another module again I want to talk again is about the leave application. This is something that many people will want actually will get interested into, because we find that most people will want to take a leave, then we don't know who is on leave, who is not on leave. But now this system actually will help the county government to actually tell at the ward level which officer is on leave and when are they reporting back. Because actually from the system, the officer will be able to actually make an application for leave, and then we can actually tell who is on leave and who is not. We have different kind of reports within the system, like now we have the sponsorship report, just to tell who is on sponsorship and who is not. Online application report, those who applied online in terms of you can be able to check actually different kind of report like approved, waiting, declined. Like now if you check on actually on approved, those that actually were approved this year, who are they? So you can be up actually to check and see Jaden, Braden or Picho, actually they were approved. They were approved. They applied for the award fund and it was approved. So there are quite a number of reports. And then we have transaction reports. In terms of income and expenses, how much was received from the county and how much has been spent. Then there is the overtime report. If there are any officers at the ward level that actually they went beyond their working hours, you can be able to tell how many went overtime. Then the salary report, what has been paid and what has not been paid for a particular month. Actually, the system can be able to show you from date to from you can choose a month, the month you want to check, then from which date, then you can get report. Actually, if you invite me, we can put in some data as per your ward, as per your county, then I can actually be able to demonstrate this in full. Lastly, there is the events. The event is the minor module where now the officers are supposed to be putting in the event. Like now, if there is an oncoming event, let's say there is a celebration, let's say there is a scholarship awarding day, there is a prize giving day. Actually, this is one of the best module that actually the ward level, we need to know what kind of events are taking place in terms of scholarship, in terms of benevolence programs. Like we have a lot of funerals going on, so we also need to tell from the system what is happening. As I end this, there is another module that I decided to put in. It's called media. Media is now to add files. Actually, files. Let's say the items that we need to put into the system are like the application forms that have been submitted, their receipts, their invoices, the kind of scholarship, actually the materials that actually like the supplies, purchase orders. So you can actually, the office is supposed to be scanning them, then they upload into the system for future reference. So I thought of this because actually nowadays you find it is very hard for an MCA, for a member of parliament, for the governor, even the officers to store files. You find they store a lot in bulk. But if we can have those same documents are scanned and then uploaded online, so that if we lose a document, we can still refer to the online portal and then we retrieve the document. As I end this presentation, I want to urge you that consider having a ward fund manager, and it will help you greatly. It will help you greatly to run the ward, to even run the constituency. Because I'm also reaching out to the members of parliament to showcase how it can be customized to help them to run the former, what we had, the constituency development fund, the CDF. If it comes back, and then I'll be reaching out to them again to showcase how it can help them. So at this point, I want to say thank you. If you need any assistance, if you need my help, please write back to me. I will share my information. I'll share my information with your request. I'll be able to post again in most social media, but my telephone number is, if you need it, 0725 88 2670.